Hello, have you ever wanted to make Minecraft plugins? Don't know Java? Well, today I'm going to introduce you to Visual Bukkit. And yes, I am using an older version, so if you are looking for a tutorial and have nothing to know, I will teach you how to install this version of Visual Bukkit. So what you'll first want to do is open your web browser. Google Chrome is what I'm going to use. You want to search for Visual Bukkit. I'll link it in the description, so we can go here. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to press download. It's going to bring you to the GitHub page. So once you're here, you want to go all the way down and look for 2.3.3, which is my favorite version and the best version of Visual Bukkit in my opinion. So we come here, we download it. So let's download the file. And you'll see in a second, it'll make a little pop-up. It'll say, well, it might not say it. It says that on Edge. I don't know if it'll say it here. If we go here, we execute the file. Give it a second. Cancel. Because I already have Visual Bukkit and I don't want to ruin it. So after we've installed Visual Bukkit, we're going to come here and we're going to see all of this. Now, ignore this section for today. We're not going to be doing it yet. We're just going to look at this section and this canvas. This is where all the code goes. You can see there's many color types of blocks, I guess you could call them. There's light blue, there's green, and then there's purple. Now, which ones do what, and what is all of this? Well, let's say for an example, we could do a player join event. Now, all these purple ones are events, meaning you couldn't put another event on top of another event. Which I guess makes sense because, let's be honest here, events don't go on events. Then we can get greens. Now, these green ones can stack with each other. And the green ones connect with the purple ones. And let's do the if statements, or the light blue ones, can connect with, you can do that, or this is like inside an if statement. I'll explain if statements in the next episode, but that goes there, this goes here, and also could do like that, stuff like that. But you can't put if statements inside of these. So now that we know the simple syntax, what all does this do? So in Minecraft, when you do something, it is an event. So let's say you walk. There is more than likely an event for that. There is not actually. I don't know if that's a very good example. A block explode event. So let's say when you blow up TNT, there's an event for that. So on that, if you wanted to, you could cancel the event and nothing would happen. Or we could look for player advancement done event. We could also cancel that, or we could open a GUI. We will get to GUIs in another episode. And one more thing I probably should explain too, before we get to better syntax understanding, is this like orange thing. What is this? What does this do? Well, this is practically all the things functions, I guess you could call them. I don't really know what to call them. So open the GUI to who? What are you going to open it to? Null? If you don't know what null means in Java, in most programming languages, it means nothing. You could create an entity. This would not work though, because it wouldn't. Command sender, if this was a command, you would send it to command sender. There's a lot of these that don't make sense, like complex variable, or like tamed owner. You could, oh yeah, an owner of command sender, if you had a wolf somehow send a command or something. There's pig zombie anger event. If you wanted to, you could stop pig zombies from getting angry by canceling the event. I'm just going to show you if statements too real fast, just basic real fast. So an if statement here, we could come here, we could go here, and we could do equals. For an equal statement, there's more statements like config value. We'll get into that to a lot later because there's a lot we need to learn. A boolean would be true if true is true, if false is true, which that doesn't make sense. You'd always have to, if you wanted to do something, you'd need to make an equal statement, like if event block equals block material, you'd want us to do that is true or false. If false, then nothing happens. It's like any block. It'd be practically, yeah, so and then we have to get about else statements, and else if statements. Now, if I were to drag out an if statement here, we could see here an else statement. Let me remove that. I don't know why I did. So an else statement is connected to an if statement. An else if statement connects to an if statement. An else statement would mean was not as good in my opinion. Use else if statements more than likely. You'll use them more. But else if would be like else if equals. You can write these the same as you can write these completely the same as any other thing. So event damage. If damage were to be damage, event damage cause. If damage cause were to be contact is true, we could send them to the ghost realm. We could remove the entity. This doesn't kill the entity unless it's a mob. It removes the player, and don't ever do that. It glitches the game out. Never do that. We could remove the command sender, even though, of course, we're not writing anything. Also, I forgot to mention, for something to work, it has to be connected to an event. This won't work. So, this would have to be an damage entity damage event. This would have to be here. Now, you see this thing? Of course this wouldn't work. It does have some syntax, but not very good. Entity damage event with priority. Now, priority practically means is there something else, another plugin that is doing something, which one's going to get priority? Now, we can set it to low. That means nope, no. Lowest, no. We can set it to low. We can set it to monitor. So that practically monitor, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know much about it. I've never used it. Normal, high, and then highest. So entity damage event, you could cancel the event and set health. You could do all this. You could do all these green blocks. Most of them would work, except a ton of, like here, you could create an explosion, like location. And now we'll get into this. We won't make our plugin today. I'm just going to be showing you the software, of course. But as you can see, there's tons of functions, tons of events you can use. It's a really good piece of software. And you can see there's a ton of events and stuff that you can do. Look at I haven't even used all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and you can write the files, you can create files. Now, I'm just going to show this real fast in case someone's looking how to make the config. This is, if you've ever coded in Java plugins, there's something called resource files. Now, this is kind of where, like, the files, like, if I go here to plugins, this is practically the resource file. This is my config for a plugin on Bukkit. If you'd like to download it, just download it in the description. But as you can see, the resource file is empty, meaning there is no config or anything. It's not customizable. You need a config to customize stuff. We'll get into customizability later, but as you can see, this folder is completely empty. We could create a file if we wanted to, but it has to be a .yml. You could put files in, the server might not like it, and the plugin might not build correctly. But that's what resource files are. So practically, I'll explain this later, but resource files would use config value. So plugin config. You could also do it with other files. I don't think Visual Bukkit is very good with it. And the value here, the key is practically, I'll explain this real fast. So the config would be the file. The key would be, if I could actually show you my config for this plugin. It's a bit of a mess, ignore it, but if I actually show you the config, you can see all of this stuff, like Insta and stuff. This is insta.name, insta.message 1, 2, and 3, enable true. So if we were to say it was a string value, we'd put string. That's not spelled right. So a string, if you don't know, is text. A number is maximum at 2.147 billion. I'm pretty sure in Java that is correct. So key, you would do like, I don't know, t.t. And we could set the value. We could also, for the string, we could also set the value to a command argument, which we'll get into that later. So practically, if you've ever done any plugin development, I'm sorry, any like Minecraft like if you've ever used plugins before, you might see in the newer versions it says args or argument. Well, that's the argument. So practically, by itself, you couldn't create a command and put spaces like that. I used to think that. So like I can't space. I'm spamming the space bar. What I'd actually have to do is make an if statement if the command argument were to be the value of 0 or 1. Same thing. I don't know why in Visual Bukkit it's like that. That's where you'd have to run it like that. It's a bit weird. I didn't know this for a while. A tutorial came up on YouTube about it, and I found it really interesting. So yeah, as you can see, permissions. Now, if you're worried, like, well, what are the permissions? Like, can you do op or default or something like that? You can make permissions with dots, or you could make your own system, like slashes and stuff. That could be a permission. I'm pretty sure it actually has to be in one sentence, so actually it couldn't be a permission. It could be like, that could be a permission. I'm 90% sure that works. I've never tried it, but I'm pretty sure if it's in one thing, it should work. I could be completely wrong. I will test that in a second. Yeah, so there's going to be one more thing we're going to look at. We're going to look at this, right here, add canvas. So, this is something only to Visual Bukkit. It does not make another class. I think Visual Bukkit should have done that. Because honestly, it makes your code look ugly and messy. Then again, learning Java is what I did. I spent a few months learning all the elements and stuff of Minecraft plugin development, and then I went to Java. I highly suggest learning Java after you've had some experience. But this tool is great for people who have little to no programming experience, and no, HTML does not count. If you know HTML, I'm sorry, that's pretty easy. I know HTML, and like I taught myself in like 30 minutes. HTML, no, I don't know what I'm talking about that still. You really just want to kind of learn Visual Bukkit first if you're new to Java. If you have experience with Java, you can go straight ahead. But if you don't, it's not. You should also, like, when you build plugins, I'll just build a plugin with, like, an event here. This will do, okay, there's already building something. So if we were to actually go here to projects tutorial, and we were to go to projects tutorial, build, source, if I were to go here and show you, you can see this is a good way to learn stuff. Visual Bukkit's a great tool, but you can see all of this stuff was made by ourselves. Now, if you actually look at this, you could probably learn Java eventually if you understood sort of coding logic and stuff. Coding logic isn't that hard. I taught myself in Visual Bukkit coding logic. I had like 0 coding logic. But as you can see, all of this stuff, like, so here's actually the event. Now, in normal, you'd put the event in here. This is where you'd put the event in Java. But, of course, we're using Visual Bukkit, so if you wanted to put something in the event, you'd bring it over here. Now, that's about it with the today. Now, there's a few things I will cover in the next one. It's quite a good tool to use. Even if you know a bit of Java and you forget elements, it's really good to have this on your computer. Because let's say you forgot what an event was. You can search it here, build a plugin, go here to the target directory, open the source code, and you can get the event and remember everything. So yeah, that's about it. Also, this is Canva. I don't know why I closed the tab. I already made the thumbnail. Anyways, I will go now, I guess. So thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. Visual Bukkit is a great tool, and I will be doing a lot of tutorials with it. Anyways, have a great day. Goodbye.